I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but a creative block, as well as my thorough enjoyment of live streaming, have gotten in the way of me sitting down and finally doing it. I've been tweaking the script over the last month, adding and subtracting things, editing it into oblivion, and avoiding the heavy lifting of video making. Finally, I decided to sit down and record and get all the relevant information and clips together and just do it. If you are a gamer, there are a few titles I would say you must play. This list is short, but to me, these few games represent the great heights gaming as an art form can reach. I'm sure you look at this list and go, yup, absolutely, sure, huh? Wait, what game? Now I know people will see Nier Automata, MGS, and, probably Chrono Trigger and Silent Hill and go, yeah, that makes sense. But Death Stranding and Spec Ops, they might be a little more iffy on those, especially Death Stranding, because that would be a controversial choice to say, but I stand by it. As for Spec Ops The Line, I'm not even sure if it's controversial because most people haven't even heard of it. Spec Ops The Line came out in 2012, and it wasn't received quite so warmly. It was a financial failure, and many gamers rejected it as too preachy for having such lackluster gameplay and graphics. I wholeheartedly disagree with this point. For one, the graphics were decent for the time, and the gameplay was really no different than a typical shooter. In fact, I found that criticism particularly strange because it was coming from people who usually played shooters. It seemed like perhaps there was something else they didn't like about the game, but they chose to say it was the gameplay. The idea that this game is an overly preachy anti-war exposition is, well, frankly, it's a very simple take. Spec Ops The Line has very little to do with the idea that war equal bad. Sure, that is the backdrop, but it has something very specific to say to gamers. There is a reason I call this game the Nier Automata of shooters. In 2012, when Spec Ops dropped, you might remember how shooters were king. Hell, they still kinda are, right? This was an era in gaming I didn't do well in. I was never into shooters, I didn't like the idea of playing games online with strangers, and all I wanted was a fucking turn-based RPG to tuck me in at night. Mainstream gaming had left me behind, so to speak. Or maybe I'm just a boomer. I don't know. Either way, I had an Xbox during that time and hardly played any games on it. I happened to see the trailer for Spec Ops, and I'll be honest, who actually watched this trailer and was confused about what was about to transpire in this game? I'm serious as hell right now. Let me show you a short snippet.
Open your eyes, Walker. I need you to see what you've done.
Dubai's running out of time, gentlemen.
I speak a lot about how powerful art truly can be. If you type Spec Ops The Line into YouTube, you will be met with a slew of videos by content creators saying the game broke them. The game made them cry endlessly. The game ruined their week. The game broke into their house and kicked their grandma. The game is dark, disturbing, heartbreaking, a look into the horrors of war. This game gives you a glimpse into the grim reality of war, and with it, you see the horrors of man. War is man-made, but beyond that, it exists almost as a game to us. Man creates war. Man makes excuses and propaganda to justify war. War is messy. War is violent. War is devastating. Most importantly, war is guaranteed death. Someone's, many someone's, will die because of war. War is but a manifestation of man's violent nature. And oddly enough, war is a fucking game to us. Here is a quote from the opening of Chapter 5, Play and War, in Homo Ludens, a book that is way too smart for me to understand. Ever since words existed for fighting and playing, men have been wont to call war a game. We have already posed the question whether this is to be regarded as a metaphor and come to a negative conclusion. Language everywhere must have expressed manners in that way from the moment words for combat and play existed. Books, movies, and yes, friends, even video games can be used to propagandize. Look, what I'm saying is that video games, like any other art form, can impact you and change you, for the better or the worse. Video games are violent, not all, but most. And despite this not always being the case, more and more games have been coming out over the years that don't involve acts of violence. The simulation of killing is prominent, especially in big AAA titles. To kill for entertainment is not harmless. You may ask why I think this, and my answer is to direct you right back to the countless videos on Spec Ops that say the game broke them or pushed them to their emotional threshold for the day. Why does a video game depicting war break you more than the very act of war? One part of the answer is that you've been desensitized to it via the medium of video games. You're used to playing games where killing is passive. It's a necessary gameplay action meant to get your character from point A to point B. In some cases, it is the entire point of the game. In others, it can be avoided. Dial up MGS3 for a good example of how a game throws what choices you made regarding that back at you. And the other part of it is that maybe you've been desensitized by the countless horrors of the real world. So rampant warfare is nothing, especially if you live in a country where you never have to witness the atrocities of the conflict. I live in the United States. I've seen more violence on television and in video games than I've ever seen in reality. I have never had to hide in a bomb shelter. My home has never been raided by enemy invaders. I've never been held as a prisoner of war or had a family member go missing, thought tortured and killed, due to the war all around me. I sit in my air-conditioned home and play video games about slaughtering people for entertainment. And that's supposed to be harmless, right? But how is it harmless when games like COD have convinced some kids, at least in a few cases I've heard of, to join the military and be a so-called hero? And believe me, they were disillusioned very quickly. The fantasy did not hold up. It isn't harmless. It has desensitized us, made us okay with the horrors all around us, and it has made us accept the unacceptable. This is one of the main things I took from Spec Ops. It's not being preachy. The setting is simply a real portrayal of war. I believe the game is much deeper than that, and it sends a powerful message to gamers with this full quote. To kill for yourself is murder. To kill for your government is heroic. To kill for entertainment is harmless. If you were used to games like COD and you picked up Spec Ops, I'm sure the game did break you. I'm sure those loading screens asking if you felt like a hero did not sit well. I'm sure Spec Ops did a number on your head, and maybe in the end,
You're not real.
you killed Conrad.
This is all in my head.
Are you sure? Maybe it's in mine. One.
No. Everything. All this. It was your fault.
If that's what you believe, then shoot me. Two.
I didn't mean to hurt anybody.
No one ever does, Walker. Three. Four. It takes a strong man to deny what's in front of it.
When we accept a broken system, we get numb to disrepair. Broken systems break those within them, twisting and turning the victims into the nuts and bolts that keep it standing. When a failing, oppressive system convinces you it is all you have, that it will keep you safe, that other systems are more flawed and will treat you worse, it can put you in a place where you ignore the failings. And not only that, perhaps you will come to accept them and even defend them.